Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. And today we are going to talk a bit more about Vision, and unfortunately this isn't going to be a positive video. And the reason why I'm covering Vision as much as I have been in the first place is because I got really excited about her, seeing her initial bit of gameplay, and then I got slightly more worried once we actually saw the deep dive and saw her abilities, realizing that her ultimate damage loop or ultimate rotation would basically be kind of a one-off thing that you can execute in a shorter fight, because to fully rebuild your armor ups it takes, you know, over 100 plus seconds, basically over 2 minutes, and in any realistic fight that is not something you would want to do. It would be kind of like waiting for Corvus charges to get back once you have used up all 20, and at that point, you know, the champion becomes kind of pointless. You don't typically want to use Corvus if you will not be able to get through the fight with the 20 charges in vast majority of the cases. And the similar case is with Vision, so there's definitely going to be a limit, a range, a type of matchup, you know, in length where she works great and where she doesn't. All that being said, I do still find quite a lot of potential in her, and I'm excited for the character. However, yesterday, since the update, we actually got her in the game and we can see her stats. And that is where I think the biggest crime of all has occurred. And when I say the biggest crime of all, I understand that there is champion balance and not every champion is going to be great as others, and people do need to balance these things out. But after seeing her stats, Vision basically by default is not going to be suitable or friendly to 98% of the players. And that's just the way it is. There's going to be no getting around it. And why am I saying that? Why am I saying that 90+% of the players will not like, enjoy, or, you know, heavily, you know, use Vision? It's because she is going to be arguably one of the most error punishing champions in a game. And what Kebab has done there is completely robbed her from virtually all of her stats, bar like attack. Her attack value, as we can see here, as a 5-star rank 5 is about 2437, which is just above average, which is, you know, there above that line. There is a huge sector. So from spot 71 to spot 96, and also kind of coincidentally or not, largely most of the size small female characters in this game have that exact same attack value. You can easily notice starting here from America Chavez, Black Widows, Captain Britain, Electrals, Bloodstone, Emma Frost, Gamora, Gwenpool, Invisible Woman, Jabari, Panta, Miss Marvel, Nebula, Proxima, Rogue, Scarlet Witch, all have the exact same attack value, which is also shared by Vision, and that is slightly above average, I would say. So 2437, and yeah, that would just put it just about average. Everything else, however, is quite dreadful. And now we need to jump back on the Vision here, and we can see that her health at rank 5 5-star level is 24,692. How does that measure up? It doesn't sound like a lot, does it? It does not sound like a lot. So let's take a look at Aunt May and figure out where 24,692 is going to put her. And obviously, so the biggest health pool would be 44k Sasquatch. The, you know, 40th biggest health pool is 33k. Then we go to 150th biggest health pool is 29k. And then we're going to have to go to the next page here already. And we're going to see that 25,600, 228, really? So effectively, it's going to be easier if we reverse the search criteria here. She does have 10th or 11th smallest health pool in the game, basically around the same level as Spider-Man. Or just slightly larger than Spider-Man, I believe. So 24.6, 24.6. So there you go. Smaller than Stark Enhanced Spider-Man. The health pool is less than Stark Enhanced Spider-Man. But again, you know, small health pool isn't necessarily in itself a deal breaker, because obviously we have Omega Sentinel, who has very small health pool, but is overall relatively tanky champion. We have champions like Kitty Pryde that are you know, perfectly capable of running with small health pool. Scorpion has a small health pool, but we don't really think of him that way because, well, because he has massive block proficiency, right? Pretty much guaranteed perfect parries, and that big block proficiency makes Scorpion feel a lot tankier. So a small health pool isn't the end of the world as long as you have plenty of block proficiency. And let's take a look at the biggest crime of them all. Will Vision's block proficiency. It's 208. Block proficiency 208. Now, is it good or bad? Percentage-wise, if you take a look at that, it's 9.4%. 9.4%. Where does that put her in the game compared to the rest of the champions? So the biggest block proficiency is like Red Skull, Captain America, Scorpions, you know, over 6k. Tanky guys. Right, even Professor X and Ebony Maw there, and Massacre has some massive block proficiencies. Let's take a look at the smaller ones, because clearly she's not going to be around the biggest ones. Smallest block proficiency by a country mile at the moment in the game is MCOC. And we all know that, you know, if you take hits in block with MCOC, it feels. It's borderline like getting hit in the face. And that's 800. That is 4 times more than Will Vision has. Other, like, very squishy champions. Again, Starking Spider-Man has 2,000. So Starking Spider-Man here has 10 times the block proficiency than Will Vision has. Now, again, yes, obviously, Will Vision does have the phasing mechanic. And with that phasing mechanic means that you're effectively not quite meant to take hits on a block. However, in order to access that phasing mechanic, number one, you always need to consume solar charge, which will not be 100% possible. And number two, that phasing lasts for 1 second. And that also means that if you have any special attacks, for instance, that may be not fully dexable, and you need to take on a block, maybe you're going to dex the first half of them, but you're still going to eat, you know, quite a bunch of hits on a block. Or if the phase is not active at a time that opponent throws a special in a block, well, it's basically like getting hit in the face. Combining that with the smallest health pool, that is a real concern for worry. Now, moving further as well, even taking a look at the rest of the stats, critical rating, 88. 88. That is the critical rating on level of Mangog and I-Hulk, lower than Immortal Abomination. That is less critical rating than Vulture, Titania, basically anyone. You can take a look at that. We have the champions who have no base critical rating, where it is made up with their abilities, like with Shuri. She has access to her guaranteed crits, but, you know, she's kind of meant to be non-critting champion. MCOC as well, access to guaranteed crits. Corvus, guaranteed crits. Captain Britain meant to be almost guaranteed crits and specials. Aegon. So it's effectively the lowest crit rate in the game. So that she can't crit is that she hardly ever will. And even then, looking at Will Vision's critical damage rating, 400. Let's see where critical damage of 400 is probably going to be about average. Not going to be anything exceptional. Critical damage rating for Shuri is high, for Vulture is high, for Warlock is high. Hitmonkey, whatever. And 400 would put her... Where do we go? Pretty much just about the middle. 120. Just under average as well. Oh no, wait. That's critical damage. Never mind. I'm mistaken. 400 critical damage rating. Woof. I was looking at armor stats there. So critical damage rating is... bottom 10. So she has quite literally the worst crit rate in the game. Bottom 10 health pool, bottom 10 critical damage rating. By far the worst block proficiency in the game. And nothing else. Yes, some will make an argument that she starts with 16 armor, which will give her 2000 something armor, but that's going to be nowhere near enough to make her feel as a relatively sturdy character. So at the moment, looking at Weird Vision, and here has been like my biggest gripe recently. Like, I really like Wiccan, but he's just too squishy for me in many situations. Like, I really like Rocket Raccoon Buck, but he's quite literally one of the squishiest champions in the game, and therefore I'm not ranking him up, even though I like him. Just because when I did test him in Battlegrounds, you know, I took about 25% of my health as block or parry damage. Wiccan I'm not playing as much as I could or should be because of his pathetic stats. And similarly to Spider-Man Supreme. Spider-Man Supreme is also one of the squishiest champions that's introduced. And even though I do like the character, I definitely find myself, you know, struggling to rely on him, knowing that, you know, one mistake and half your health is gone. All of those champions are absolute tank powerhouses compared to Weird Vision. Compared to Weird Vision, those champions are like Dr. Doom levels of tanky. And the interesting part here is obviously we could compare all of those stats, you know, with another champion that has very easy and frequent access to phasing mechanic, and in theory don't have to take in any hit on a block, so on and so forth. You can see that even Ghost has higher base attack, higher base health, for whatever reason, higher crit rate, definitely higher crit damage, definitely 10, 13 times higher block proficiency. And it's not like Ghost is a tanky champion by any means. And that is why when it comes to Kabam, if something looks too good to be true, it definitely will be. Now, I also want to make it clear, I'm not trying to make it sound like Weird Vision is not going to be a good character. I, in fact, personally still think that she could be very good, very interesting. But all of these pathetic base stats taken in consideration, she definitely will not be the character for the masses. Because if you do miss a parry and eat hits in a block, you're going to feel it. If you do get hit in a face, your health bar is going to drop drastically. And all of those things combined, yeah, this is a very, very huge kind of dent in her armor. This is a very big problem for a character. Having bad stats is one thing. Having this abysmally bad stats takes it to completely different level. And it's quite unfortunate because with every new piece of information coming out, with every new kind of like reveal of her, she just looks worse and worse. And again, she could still come out of it as a great champion. Who knows? But I am definitely 1000 times more skeptical now of her as a champion than I was initially. And again, it's just yet again another reminder that when it comes to Kabam, something looks awesome, if something looks good, you know, don't believe it, don't trust it, pause it. And which is exactly why I am always extremely cautious with my champion reviews, with getting hyped for champions and so forth. Let me know what you guys think about this entire situation, and I'm gonna catch you guys soon. See ya. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about the